Hello, this is Tammy from Singles Travel International, and tonight I am here to talk to our travelers who are going on our New Year's Eve cruise to the Caribbean, and it's called Tex Mex New Year's Eve Cruise. We're heading into 2024. Filling in for CJ tonight, and going to go through what we call the final vacation details and information letter, and that is covering all of the final information that you're going to want to know before you end up taking your vacation. So let me go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen with you guys tonight, and let's get in over here. This is the vacation page, and this is on the Singles Travel International site, which is singlestravelintl.com. And from this page, even though everybody who is on this vacation received an email 21 days before departure, we do the meet and greet just to make sure that we answer everybody's questions. And it's also located on the trip page. So here you see your travel documents on the left-hand side. And if you click on that, you land on this document, which I started to look over today. So let me just go ahead and bump this up. And if you didn't receive this, that's okay. Don't worry. Some of you have mentioned that you haven't reviewed it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and review everything tonight. And then I'll make sure that you get this link, which is here at the top. Again, for those of you that are savvy on internet, you could go to the trip page and you are able to find that information yourself. So just go ahead and sit back and relax, and I'm going to go ahead and just fill you in, get you ready for the trip. So and then once I finish with the presentation, we'll go ahead and we'll open up for questions and answers. And I promise that you're going to know everything that you need to know to get ready for this fantastic trip. This is our we're going into our 31st year, and we just missed 1 year in the pandemic. So this is going to be our 30th New Year's Eve cruise since we started doing singles vacations back in 1993. So we're really excited to have you guys with us. And the theme is the Tex Mex New Year's Eve. Why? Because we're going from Galveston, Texas. So we thought that it would be fun to do a little Tex-Mex. I happened to be on the Allure of the Seas last year when she came out of the dry dock, and it was out of Texas, and they invited me on to see what it was like. And that was the inspiration for this New Year's Eve cruise. And they had a band playing when we got there. They gave everybody a hat, and it was very Texan. So I'm expecting a little bit of the same with our group, and that's why we came up with the Tex-Mex theme. And we're going to have our own country music awards theme on this cruise. So some of our members who are brand new were wondering about the theme. And to be honest, we've been doing this for so long, and we've been doing the themes. And when you first come as a new cruiser with us or a new traveler, it might seem a little odd, but truthfully, about 80% of the members do dress up. They enjoy it, and it's a great night to get pictures for your social media, and it's a great way to kind of get out of your box, because a lot of us as singles, we tend to box ourselves in about who we think we might be or who we think other people think we are. And a theme night is a great way to stretch your wings a little bit and try something new and say, you know what, tonight I think I'm going to do some things that I might not normally do. And nobody knows, because you might be in a costume. They don't know it's you. So it's a source of being able to be courageous. And the next day you don't have to pay the consequences. So anyway, you heard it from me. I'm an expert at that. And anyway, my name is Tammy, and I'm the leader here. I'm the president of Fun and Adventure. And I think that this is what it's all about, right? We are out to have a great time. It's New Year's Eve, and we want to have fun. So you received this document. It's called the Final Vacation Details. And right on the first page, we have a checklist for you. And very important, if you haven't already looked, go check your passport. We still have time if there's an emergency. It should be valid for 6 months after the return. So you're talking about, June of 2024. Check your validation dates. We do recommend insurance, and all of these items on the checklist have a corresponding paragraph on the next page. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. We would like for you to have finished the complete fit and willing to travel commitment, which is an attestation that you will practice fair and friendly behavior when you're on the trip. And also we collect very good information about your flights and why you're taking this trip and what it means to you, so that the concierge can make sure that if there's an opportunity to change your life, that's what we want to do. We want you to be able to check in for Royal Caribbean, because that's the cruise line that we're traveling on, and they have their own system for you to check in and get your boarding pass. Then there are some options to book once you're on the Royal Caribbean website. We also encourage our members to install the WhatsApp app on their phone, because we're going to be international. On board the cruise ship, Wi-Fi is not included. And for some folks, to spend another $200 or $200 to $300 to have internet access is a little bit expensive. But when we get into port, when we're in the different ports, as not on board the ship, you can duck into some restaurants and locations and be able to get internet. So WhatsApp is a great way for us to stay connected while you're on the cruise and in the ports. Your concierge will be in touch with you, especially if it's an emergency. Although a lot of our members, I know, are connecting and getting their phones set up for international travel, so that they are able to stay connected these days. We find more and more of that. So, and then you're here tonight. So that was the seventh thing on the checklist. And thanks for joining. But if you're not here, you're watching us on YouTube, and we are here for you for any follow-up questions that you may have. So as I said, to correspond with the checklist, page 2 has paragraphs that you are able to review and connect if you haven't. Here is the fit and willing to travel form, as well as a link. Here's the fit and willing to travel. So if you click on the links in our letter, everything is here for you very simply. So this is what this looks like. If you have any questions, just contact us at the office, and both Catherine or Kimberly or myself will be happy to help you. You can also email service@singlestravelintl.com anytime when you book a vacation with us before you go, so that if you have questions, we answer those on a day-to-day basis. So I know that Catherine and Kimberly are very prompt about that. So any questions that you have, they'll be able to answer you. To log into the Royal Caribbean website, there's a link here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. In order to get checked in for your cruise, you do need to have a login, right? So this is an initial sign in. And if you have a Royal Caribbean account, some of you do already, you put your email in, your password. But if you don't, you just click on create an account and fill in all of this information. At some point, they're going to ask you for your reservation number. And in order to get your reservation number, that is found on your Singles Travel International website account. So here's my account that you see right now. And if you click on reservations and payments, now I don't have one for this cruise, but I'm going to go ahead and click on this for a minute to show you what it looks like. Once I get to my cruise confirmation, I'm going to be able to click on it and see my reservation number. So here are some of my reservations. Let me try to find a cruise here. So here's Costa Rica. So I'm going to click view order. That's the point. So I'm not on the Tex Mex, but I'm going to choose a cruise from the past. I'm clicking view order. That's what you would do. If you have a future vacation with us, you're going to see view order and pay balance. You've all passed that point. So I'm choosing this one because I just want to click view order. This is all your financial information. And if I scroll down here, I have a confirmation number. That is where you're going to find your cruise confirmation number to be able to log into the cruise line website. So here, once you create your profile with Royal Caribbean, this is just creating the account, but the next step they're going to ask you for that reservation number. So that's how you find it. And if this is too much, don't worry, just call us or email us, and Catherine will be happy to share that information with you. No problem. In the meantime, you're also going to download the app for Royal Caribbean, because once you're on board the ship, that's how you're going to be able to see all kinds of things like the schedule, what's going on, and anywhere. Then this is a big ship that you're going to be on, the Harmony of the Seas. It's got so many wonderful things to do, including 7 different neighborhoods. And each neighborhood has restaurants and shops and entertainment. And so the app, which is the next thing I think is coming up on here, is the Royal Caribbean app that you will find on your phone. And that is how you're going to be able to know everything that's going on the ship. But in the meantime, if you want to add anything like shore excursions or specialty dining, you can do that on the Royal Caribbean site that I just showed you. However, when CJ gets on board with you at the welcome meeting that she'll have in Austin, not in Austin, sorry, in Houston, that first day, she'll be taking some signups for specialty dinners. So I would say if you're going to go on the Royal Caribbean website to engage in the specialty dinners, I would buy the package so that you save money on your dinners instead of booking the actual dinners. And that's because if you book the dinner, you obviously, because it's a singles group, you're traveling with a bunch of new friends, it'll be best for you to do that dinner with other members of the group. So if you want to do that and you're into specialty dinners, which everybody has dinner included in their package. Each night we'll go in, CJ will have a table set up for the group for dinner. But some of the nights she will organize a specialty restaurant. So for those of you who are new cruisers, specialty restaurants are a little bit more upscale, a little bit more gourmet, and there's a fee associated. So when you see her in Houston, she'll have like a list of signups. So if you're interested in any of the specialty restaurants, it could be Jamie's Italian, or it could be the Central Park 150. She'll have a sign up, you sign up for it, and you pay when you get on board and you actually have that dinner. Except that if you buy a package for 2 dinners or 3 dinners, then you get a little bit of a discount. And when you give your card to the waiter at the restaurant, they just deduct that from your package. So you can either pay a la carte or you can do the package. So I would imagine on a 7-night cruise, she'll have 3 specialty nights. So if you're interested and that's your thing, if you're a foodie, then you may want to do the 3-night package. But if you're not interested in that at all, then no problem. Dinner's included every single night. So excursions, that's another option. And we did put a link on the Singles Travel International page. If you go to the chat, we have a link to all of the Royal Caribbean excursions. And when you log in using your account, which is where I just was showing you on the Royal Caribbean webpage, creating an account and putting in your reservation number. Once you get in, you have a chance to book your excursions. That's probably the most efficient way, even though I'm going to show you that there's a link here on the chat. This is the link to the excursions to see everything, but really, I think the best way is to log into your own account and then view the excursions there. And then, of course, once you decide what you want to do, post it here on the chat so that others in the group see what you're doing. Like here's Mark, he put some of his excursions that he's booked already. So that way you have a chance to join something somebody else in the group is doing. I think that's just the best way. But if there's anything that you must do before you leave this cruise, then you should book it, regardless of who's going. And then once you get on board the cruise, maybe somebody else will go or book or post it on the chat, and you may get another member to join you. But I wouldn't overbook yourself. I would say, choose the things that are really, really exciting or that really speak to you, and then leave a little bit of free time. Because I've seen over the years, anybody who books something every single day, they usually peter out a little bit halfway through and they end up canceling, and I wouldn't want you to lose money over that. So for those of you who haven't cruised before, it's a great piece of advice just to book the things that you really are looking forward to doing and leave a little bit of breathing space. So, all right, so I'm going to go back here now. Can everybody see the letter? Are we back all in the letter? If you do, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Great. Okay, so back here now, I'm going to be moving on inside the final vacation details. And on page 4, we're talking about socializing. So we have a lot of social media sites. We'd love you to follow us. We'd love you to post while you're on the cruise and use some of our hashtags. So we are hashtag Singles Travel International. And we also have an amazing merchandise store. So if you want to, after your trip or before you go, order anything that has the Singles Travel International logo on it, we have a merch store. The link is here. If you are a premium member, you get $5 off of anything that you purchase in our store. If you're interested in that, just let us know and we can give you the code for that. These are all of our social media sites. We're involved with everything. So please start following us. And even when you're not on this vacation, you get to see where we're at, and you'll guarantee witness some of your friends out there on the road having a good time, people that you've met on other trips. And it's a wonderful community to be a member of. So for those of you who are just joining, just welcome. We're happy to have you. Some emergency contact information, day of travel. You're traveling on the 30th. That's during the week. So we'll just have you call our office on the day of travel itself. If you have any delays, just go ahead and contact CJ directly. She will be in Houston the day before. So she's at this number. I would recommend putting that into your contacts so that you're ready in case there's an emergency. Because when we have stress, the last thing you want to do is start to go through this 15-page document. Where the heck is the number? So go ahead and put CJ, and I would put my number in there. I'm 815-715-6998. It's pretty public for those of you who have been with us before. I am the main contact for emergencies, so it's not a bad number to have. But so you've got our general number, you've got CJ's number, and you have my number. So, but while you're traveling that day, any last minute delays or anything, just go ahead and text CJ directly, because she'll be waiting for you and caring for you and making sure that she stays in contact until you connect at the hotel. We strongly recommend insurance. We've just seen so many things in the last 31 years. And, most people who've had an incident, they're the ones that buy the insurance because they know that it was helpful when they needed it. And so if you haven't purchased it yet, just go ahead and shoot us an email or give us a call. Catherine's the one that takes care of that, and she'd be happy to go ahead and help you purchase your insurance. It's a little bit of information about check-in and baggage, which I think most of you, your travelers, those rules still apply for the 3-ounce liquids, putting them in a 1 quart bag. That still applies right now. So continue to follow those guidelines. When you come into Houston, there's 2 airports. So you can come into George Bush or Houston Hobby. They're both equidistant pretty much to the city. So we're going to be at a centrally located hotel. We've got some of your flight information. We're not providing transfers, so it's not imminent. Don't feel left out if you don't see your flight information here. But if you filled out the fit and willing to travel document, we should have it. So this was published about a week ago. You may have provided it since then. And if you have not, please do complete the fit and willing to travel document. Again, here's another location for it. So it's important for us because then we have your information. And as concierges, we want to know, when are you coming and what is your purpose for the trip? And, we want you to sign off on the document, of course, but if there's any special meals. I mean, we just had a trip in Canada this weekend. And believe it or not, 2 of the ladies got to the restaurant and they were like, well, we're vegetarians, and they didn't tell us. So they actually answered no when we asked about any special dietary. So maybe for them, it was so mainstream that they were vegetarian that they didn't say that to us. So the chef had to scramble and we did what we could do, but it wasn't ideal. We didn't love the outcome. So if you fill out the fit and willing to travel document, we promise that it's going to make such a better experience for you. So please do that. So traveling, you want to have our emergency numbers, give us as much information as possible. And then everybody's going to arrive into Houston, and we have a pre-cruise package hotel. It's the Hyatt Place. I also would recommend, either print this whole document, which you don't have to do. There's different levels of sophistication with the internet. Some of us can have this in an email, no problem. You can access it. I'm kind of old school. I like to print things out because if the internet's not working or something happens, at least I have this. I would at least take a picture of this page, because when you get on the airplane from your home city and you arrive into Houston, this is the next level. You need to know where to go. So I would put CJ's number, put my number, and then put this in your contacts, or take a picture on your phone so you have this. And here's the phone number so you know where you're going. If you're going to take a taxi or an Uber, this is what you need to know. So there's the room list for everybody, everything that's included. When you arrive, we have a little hospitality desk from 4 to 5 in the lobby. So your concierge will meet you there. We have a welcome packet. We give you a nice lanyard with your names. If it's your first time, we give you a t-shirt, and we're going to give you a weekly agenda that's custom designed for the singles in our group. And so that's what makes it fun, because you are here with some new people, but you're also on vacation. Everybody has their own space, because that's how we roll here, and that's how you guys roll. Because when we're in this 50 plus age range, nobody wants to share anymore. So we all have our own rooms. But when you wake up in the morning, you want to share breakfast with some people, perhaps. Maybe some days you do, some days you don't. You want to be with other members for dinner. So that agenda lets you go off and do your own thing and be independent, yet you know where to tie back in with the group later on. So we're going to give all of that to you at the hospitality desk. And then we're going to have a little bit of a happy hour. We have a drink for everybody on us, and then we'll do an optional dinner at a nearby restaurant. So we'll organize something fun and everybody will just pay their own dinner, but we'll all be together and we organize it. So you don't have to do anything but show up and have fun. The next day, we're going to take you back to the Harmony of the Seas. So we have a bus that's going to pick everybody up at the hotel after breakfast, which is included in your package. Looks like it's going to be 11:15, and then we will transfer at 11:30. And it takes about an hour to get to Galveston from Houston. So during that time, CJ will go over any last minute items to get you prepared to board the ship. By that time, you would have already, I'll show this beautiful Harmony of the Seas. It's so beautiful. You guys are going to have such a good time. But by the time you get on board the bus that morning, if you haven't downloaded the app, she'll make sure that you do. But you should do that, as soon as you can, even maybe that night when we all have dinner. We'll make sure everybody has the app downloaded, because you check in the boat drill is now on the app. So you don't even have to go and hang out at the lifeboats anymore. You just go to your lifeboat station, but that's the last check item. You actually go on the app on your phone and you listen to a little video and they talk about the safety. And then once that's done, you go to your lifeboat station, they check your name off. So it still serves the same purpose. So A, you know what the protocols are, and B, you know where you're supposed to meet if there is an emergency. So that's on the app. Checking in is on the app. And then, as I said, all of the other activities are listed on the app, all the entertainment, all the restaurants, what's open, how busy they are. That's also something on these giant ships. They have a wayfinding system. So at any of the elevator banks, they have a big screen and it's all touch. So let's say you come out of your cabin and now you come to the elevator and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to meet everybody at the wine bar in the Central Park area. I have no clue where that is, right? Even though we'll put on our schedule, deck 7, forward, starboard. And your concierge should teach you all of those terms so that, when you get on board, you know what they mean. But on the Harmony of the Seas, they have the wayfinding. So you could touch it on the screen and you can type in and it'll tell you where to go. So it's very, very powerful and helpful to find your way. And of course, there's the old fashioned, like, hey, I'm supposed to meet my friends at the wine bar. Where is it? What direction? So don't worry, that's still available to all of us. So there's the beautiful ship, 7 neighborhoods. You can see right in the forefront here, that's the Central Park area. They have over 5,000 plants in that area. It's awesome. In the front here, you see a little bit of, there's the ice skating rink and the show. Over in the back, they've got there's the giant slide. That's my favorite thing to do. The abyss, the great abyss. You see the purple swirls. You get up at the top on that blue section and you slide all the way down. That's a lot of fun. All the way in the back, they have the dive section where they do shows and they have Olympic divers, and it's phenomenal. You guys are going to love this ship. So moving on, we talk about once you're on board, onboard purchases. Everything is charged to your cabin account and the little card that they give you when you board. They might even have a bracelet these days. I'm not sure. That's something that's been in the works. So whether it's a card or a bracelet, that's your way to get in your cabin. That's how you charge everything on board the ship. There's no cash. And then we often get asked, how much money should I bring? And so since everything's charged on the ship, it's really just, what are you going to spend in Houston? And then what would you spend in the ports? If you don't take shore excursions and you get off, you might, pay for a lunch somewhere, a couple of beers, a taxi, or those kinds of things. So anywhere between $300 and $500. If you're a big shopper, you might need a little bit more if you want to do some negotiating, because you are going to be in some Mexican ports and they love to negotiate. So that's totally acceptable. And there you might want to have a little bit of cash. But my gosh, 3 to 500 is more than enough for this cruise. We talked about shore excursions, and that is, again, Kimberly did a great job here. You're going to click here to see the excursions, as well as log in to your account to see what's going on, and just choose what you think you have to do before you get off this cruise. And it is New Year's Eve, so for sure on the 1st, some of us are going to be hungover. That's going to be a guarantee, because that's where you're here. You're going to have a good time, stay up late. If you don't drink, that's okay too. But I know a lot of us are going to be toasting some champagne, and we might have some headaches the next day. So be careful when you're booking your excursions. Group dining every night. We're going to have a space on the main dining room for our group. And that first night that you come in, we're going to know exactly where to go. Your concierge will be there at the happy hour, and then she'll be there in the dining room. The happy hour, she's going to say, when you come into the dining room, here's where our tables are. The maitre d's that are greeting you know where we are. So you just walk in and they'll help you find our location, and we'll all be seated together every single night in the main dining room, unless you've booked a specialty dinner. So I see right here, we have several that booked Chops Grill, and some that booked the Jamie's Italian. So if you're interested in that, then please at the welcome meeting, let CJ know so she can go ahead and add you to the reservation. If you have dietary requirements, this is a big ship. So it's not a problem to meet your requirements no matter where you go. So I don't go into great length about that, because there's not a whole lot that they can't do for anybody once you're on board the ship. They've got such a diverse kitchen. It's not a problem. But if you have something that you think is unique, then of course it should also be in that fit and willing to travel, so that we know what you need. And then we'll talk to the maitre d' and we'll make sure that you're taken care of. Our goal is to make sure that you have a great time, and we want to cover all those bases beforehand. Electrical current on board the ship is USA, same as Canada. If we have any Canadian members traveling with us, it's still 110, no problem. Internet, there are Wi-Fi packages once you get on board. You can actually book it if you go onto RoyalCaribbean.com and log in, as I was suggesting. You are able to book shore excursions, you can add drink packages, and you can also add specialty dinners and dinner packages, and you can also buy your Wi-Fi in advance, and it's less expensive. All of those things are less expensive if you do them in advance. So share your gifts. We always love to know what's going on in the lives of our singles, and you guys are talented. You've got a lifetime of interesting backgrounds. So if there's anything that you do that you think others want to know or learn, maybe you're a dancer. I know Brad's in the room tonight. He's a big dancer. So ladies, not that he's going to teach you to dance, but Brad's a dancer. Some people like to do photography or yoga, or you speak a different language. If there's something that you want to share with the other members, just let your concierge know, and we can set up a get together about that, and just have an event around that. So we've got a lot of fun times on the days that we're at sea. We have 2 theme nights, and we promised a country music star night. So not everybody is like kosher about this. You're like, what is it about? You know what? Just come dressed to the nines. You know how these country stars are, and some of you are from Texas. So if you want to get on the chat and tell some of the others what you're wearing, that could be helpful. Just Google country outfits, country music awards. Look at some of the videos. It is like the, it's like the Grammys, the Emmys, any awards night. So people dress up really beautifully. So think about what might make sense for you for that night and your personality. Our weekly schedule will actually tell you what night it's going to be. We don't know yet until we get on board and we get closer till we know what the cruise line is offering each night, but it'll be one of the nights. You're also going to have formal for New Year's. Now, formal today compared to what the cruise lines did for many, many years is a little bit more relaxed, but I think our crowd, we come from a time where cruising was very formal. So if you have a tuxedo, especially guys, I'm like, wear a tuxedo. You're the most popular with a tuxedo on. And ladies, wear a gown if you have it. It's New Year's Eve on a cruise, so we don't get very many chances for this anymore. So I would say dress to the nines, and that'll be one of the nights. So you're going to have country music night, you're going to have a formal New Year's, but if you don't have a tuxedo, don't worry. For New Year's, if you don't want to wear like a long gown, that's okay, like a cocktail dress. Whatever you're comfortable in these days is all acceptable on cruises. There's no rule. Nobody's going to turn you away because of your dress code. So if this your idea of a cruise is just to chill and not be dressed up, that's okay too. Our other theme is Red Caribbean Sunsets. So we are just wearing anything red or orange or tropical, I'm going to say, to celebrate the sunsets in the Caribbean. And we'll have many. All of our new members, as I mentioned, are going to have a t-shirt. This is our departure information. If you bought, so we actually are not booking or transfers anymore because so many members said that they were able to do it on board, and the cruise lines offered it for less on board. So we thought, well, why not just promote that, since that makes more sense. So if you need a transfer back to the ship, or from the ship to the airport at the end, you are able to add that to your shipboard account. We also know that what happens at the farewell event, and because you're going to meet other singles while you're there, you may just share a taxi. So I'm looking at this, for example, I see Kim's got this in alphabetical order by first name, but for example, I see Maria Christina and Brad are on the same flight at 3:49 from Houston to Atlanta, so they could share a taxi back to the airport if they wanted to. That's what I'm suggesting. Under the general information section, it's going to be the Caribbean in the winter. Most of us are coming from from cold places, so it's going to be hot. It'll be humid. So bring your summer attire, bring your bathing suits, bring your sunscreen. We always say rain can be expected, but really probably not very much. And if it is, it's only going to last for a short time. So not to worry. Major bathing suit, sunscreen, hats. I really recommend the hats. Now that I'm in Florida, I have a skin doctor now. So hats are really important. Packing tips, you can take a look at this at your leisure. I talked a lot about that. Any prescriptions that you have, it's always good, they say, to keep it in the original containers with your prescription details. I take a picture of your bottle. There's nobody that's going to stop you if you put it in an alternate container, but maybe just take a picture of the bottle with a prescription, just in case you need to fill it when you get down the line for some crazy reason, it gets lost or dissolved and we need to replace it. You know exactly what it is. So that's my recommendation on that. These are all your inclusive features. Lots of things that we include. What's not included would be your airfare, transfers to the hotel in Houston, any shore excursions, gambling, shopping, your gratuities to the shipboard crew, and gratuities to your concierge. And these are recommendations, right? So the cruise line is going to automatically add a gratuity to your shipboard account at the end of the cruise for every day. And it's about $15 a day. So if you want to change it, you would have to go to the purser's desk and tell them that you want to change it. I think most people roll with it. Those of us who cruise from way back when, we used to give cash envelopes. I think that's a thing of the past. You can always give people an extra 20 or 30 or whatever you want to do. That's fine. You want to leave your cabin steward a little extra in addition, not mandatory. even the gratuity to your concierge. Sometimes we hear back from people and they're like upset, and we say, but it's optional. We want to earn it. The concierge team works hard, right? So I want them, as a leader here at Singles Travel, I think that what makes our concierge is exceptional is because they work on tips and they care. And they wouldn't work for us if they didn't care. They wouldn't have a chance. But in addition, they work hard. And so if you feel like they earned it, then by all means, give them what we're suggesting. But it's up to you at the end of the day. It's your heart. Where your heart feels, that's what you should give to them. And nobody's judging you guys. So that's my recommendation on gratuities to the concierge. We have this little paragraph here about being nice to one another, and you've also signed off on the fit and willing. We've only once had to remove somebody from a program, and it was pretty egregious. So most of you, I'm sure, are going to be fine. But we're here together. We come from different backgrounds, and we have different views, and so just be respectful to one another. It's pretty normal, common sense behavior. When you come back from the trip, you all met each other. Sometimes you connect, and you connect using Facebook, and you connect with sharing each other's phone numbers. But let's say you didn't, and you want to know who somebody is. Like, we're super protective of your privacy. Our website is double blind, so if you send messages to each other, it doesn't reveal your personal info. If you want to contact somebody who is on the trip, you go to the community page and then click on booked trips. So go to community and click on the book trips box, and then you pull up the Tex Mex from December of 23, and all of the profiles of everybody that you traveled with will come up, and that always lives on even after the trip page falls off, because you're used to seeing the who's going. So that erases, but you can always see everybody that was on your trip from this community section under booked trips. And there's a video on how to do it. So we want to make it easier for you. And then when you come back, we want to hear about it. So if you had a great trip, you have 3 ways to get future credits. And Kimberly's awesome. Now, there was a day where we would give it to you, but it wasn't so methodic. We never said no, but now the minute you come back, if you get your survey done in 7 days, she sends you a credit. If you refer a friend, you get a credit. And if you do a 5-star Google review, you don't get it for the 3 stars. If you get the 3-star, if you're not happy, we want to hear about it first before you do the review, because it does affect us, honestly, if we get a bad review. We're so ranked on everything these days. But, if you're not happy, number one, tell the concierge during the trip. That's a moment for us to turn everything around. We can make all the difference in the world. We don't have a lot of power after you come home. So if there's a problem, we want to know while you're on the trip. And when you have that welcome meeting, your concierge will tell you, please come to me. There's so much that we can do. So by the time you get home, you should be happy with the experience. You don't have to give us a review, but we definitely get, we're surprised if we get something less than 5, because we feel like you have a chance to tell us when you're on the trip. But if you're really happy with it and you're a 5-star person, we're going to give you $25 for that. So you have a chance to get 25 times 3. Kimberly sends you a voucher, so you have it on record. We have it on record. And, we that's all we want, is for you to have an amazing time. So I am pretty covered now on everything that I wanted to talk about with you guys today. I'm going to go back to the trip page here. Let's see, we did so much tonight. So I'm going to go back to the original trip page. We're going to do a little bit of a Q&A, and I'm going to stop the video. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, sorry that you couldn't be here live, but we can't wait to meet you in Houston. And we just, really would love if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel so you always stay up to date on everything new that's coming out at Singles Travel International. And until then, just have a great evening. And we're going to do a little bit of Q&A with those who are here tonight. So thanks for joining.